2018 championship of the Highland Holiday Hoop Fest, Panthers and Mustangs, Griffith and Munster.
The game didn't need to play in the second half.
Landers pressure, taken away, Zabrecki ahead, Balich up and under, and it's 5-1.
Can jump out of the gym, number 23.
Lee in the middle, Lawson sitting underneath, and one. Good basketball player indeed. Cantor in the corner, sets it from downtown, and he's got it. Griffith in the corner. Skipped across, extra pass, finds Javon Morris, and he answers the three of his own. Morris down the lane, dumps it off for Levin, who goes up, and it comes to O'Shawn Lee. Pushed ahead, chance for Graham, in the open floor, nice finish with the right. 5-4, Lee, nice job to get into Davenport, but the defense swarmed him and swatted it away. Good look to Zabrecki, stumbles but finishes.
As he was falling down. Their defense is stifling.
Love it. Hesitation. Nice finish.
Team.
Hard screen by Fives. Lawson's down. They go back to Fives for three.
They go. They've tended to go a little late.
Morris beats the pressure, lays it in. Landers to the corner. Gordon drives baseline. Gordon kicks it. Corner. Lee fires. 4-3, and he's got it. This entire game. Finds Lovett. Dribbled into a triple team and turned it over. Landers on the thievery. Now trying to score it on the run out. What an unbelievable spin. Josh Davis off the inbound. Gets to the basket against Iwinski. How about Josh Davis to the basket? Iwinski gets a touch to the middle. Lawson down the lane, and he scores it there. Kick out here to Davis. Now in the corner. Zabrecki has not really attempted anything all game until now. Off the glass, tipped around, and now tipped out. Zabrecki trying to track it down, able to do so. Finds Luka Balich. He lays it in. 71-56. Munster pulls away late. They are the champions of the 2018 Highland Holiday Hoop Fest. Congratulations to them. I want to set the stage for you here tonight as the 8-5 River Forest Ingots travel here to Bishop Knoll Institute to take on a 5-7 Warriors team to make baskets especially. Reardon outside, right down the lane, tried to float it off the glass and got the roll. Common around here, so he has a little bit of an advantage too, even if guys are out there. Here's Grant.
Look, but just a really good defensive play. And again, here's another one.
Some contact, but Perkins comes up with this steal. Nice patient move.
And an ill-advised three-pointer from River Forest. And then there you go. Now you get the rebound. And when you take a bad shot, those things aren't intact.
Perkins to the bucket. He's got a couple of good takes right there. Passed it up. Off to Scott. Baseline.
That's a nice pass.
Good
Beautiful
finish.
pass that time by Scott. Nice offensive set by River Forest.
Scott. Tied again.
Now these guys are starting to shoot a little bit.
Bryce in there, the freshman, didn't start, but comes off the bench. Perkins, good extra pass. Mosqueda, when he has his shoulder set, he is pretty good by Jones. Scott, not waiting for anybody. Blows past LaFollette and scores. Middle for Perkins. Thought about forcing up a contested shot. Instead, it eventually finds Harding from downtown. One, the only change is for Corey Jones.
Nice
they roll it to
play.
Grant. That is.
Beautiful pick and roll, and the guys helping recover a little bit, which is good. Everyone's looking over. Oh, that's a charge. That's a great rotation. I don't know, but Jade Hernandez is playing some really good defense on the run. So I don't think that's a shot. Even though he knocked it down, I don't think that's a shot that they're waiting. It's open underneath. You got to keep your eyes open against the press. That's a nice move. Nice move.
River Forest in need of some offense. Almost offense for Knoll. Mosqueda, extra pass. LaFollette, third time's a chunk.
He keeps shooting. He's a shooter.
67-56, the final for the final time for everybody involved in the broadcast tonight, including Dave Kuziak, my partner. I'm Sam Michaels, saying we hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Here live at the Steiner Homes Highland Holiday Hoop Fest. It's the third place game as the host team Highland takes on South Bend, Washington. Alongside Matt Maloney, I'm Sam Michael. He could not get free when it mattered most, and they kept him pretty quiet in the second half. Nice back cut by Scheidt, and he banks it in. Outside here is Griffin. They move it to the right side for Petty. Post touch inside over the top of Scheidt. 5.5 left here in quarter number one. Sisk on the post touch. Fades away. Dirk Nowitzki. Outside the big man Petty for Gray, and he hits. Scheidt. Left-hand dribble to the bucket. Left it short. Good contest by Petty. And now numbers for South Bend, Washington. Griffin leading the way. Leans in and floats it. Off the right side. Thought about a three. Scheidt has a mismatch inside with Vaughn, but they couldn't get it to him. Johnson took it away. 5.5 left. Founders hit the last three. Posts it up inside to Scheidt. Nice spin move and a good delivery. RC to the corner. Scheit drives inside, floating it to the bucket, plus the foul. Off the inbound, it's Petty in the corner.
Nice move.
Drives and rejects. On the zone, a bit more up top. They do it here to Griffin. Griffin goes through a bunch of players, drives the lane, contact with Indiana basketball. IU fan ahead for Scheit. Morinville, baseline jumper, and Ryan.
This, in my opinion, hurts them. They hang back.
Tough baseline jump shot. RC down the lane, left side. That is his strong hand. He spins it off the window between Griffith and Munster at 7:30. Off the inbound. Post up for Scheit. Patient spinning and scoring. Murray backs it out. Skips it for Benninghoff. He fires for three and he buries it. Griffin able to split the double team again. This is a guy you don't want to leave, Daquan Jennings.
You know how you can score points and have the clock not run? Right there.
Morinville inside. Down low for Vaughn. He settles. Nice shot fake, creating a point-blank chance to Marcus Vaughn. Final score on this one for the final time, 56-49. And tonight's a big matchup in two of the top teams in the Greater South Shore Conference, really around the entire area. And we see that tonight with Griffith and Bishop Knoll. Gordon spinning, picked up his dribble, now dumps it to the corner, right in front of the B&I bench. Corey Landers. Graham to the corner, Lawson quick trigger, corner pocket triple. Trapped there, lost his dribble, trying to kick it out. It was deflected, taken away by Scott. Scott with it, running down the lane, scores it right before the Books and Crown. A good student section behind him. Outside, Craig Gordon fires from outside. That's his first attempt from downtown. In the corner, Lawson, he hit from there earlier, and he's hit again from that corner pocket three. And now Gordon. Head fake for Gordon. Creates the entire opening right.
The key, that's a free throw for most guys.
Rensick steps into a three of his own, trying to answer, and he's got one there. Reardon, pass ahead for Roldan, in the middle. Grant, it's a 10-point game. DiCrescenzo has the board, numbers to run. Grant ahead of the pack as he scores it. Outside for Graham. Who does Griffith go to when they need a bucket? It's Davenport. Nice job. Nice also to save it. Grant in and out. Reardon fires from downtown. Pushing the tempo. Splits defenders. Finds Issa. Griffith back on top. And being patient. Gordon kicks it. Corner. Lawson for three, and he's got it. Looking for number 10 as the first two options right now. Ackery. Reardon's also been great for three, and he's got it. Lorenzic got it. Nobody else is moving. Ackery with 50 seconds. Down the lane. Threw it at the basket. Score it. Griffith has to hurry. Right side, it's Landers. Landers with 5. Inside, Iwinski the lead. Looking. Finds Scott. Scott for the win. Got it! Brandon Scott wins it right in front of his own bench. And they storm the floor.
Place has just gone absolutely bananas, and how about that shot from Brandon Scott? Didn't get the start tonight, but he finished this one for sure.
Who will get a shot at a miracle finish? DiCrescenzo again, the inbounder. Looking. Finds Scott. Scott for the win. Got it! Brandon Scott wins it right in front of his own bench. And they storm the floor.
Place has just gone absolutely bananas, and how about that shot from Brandon Scott? Didn't get the start tonight, but he finished this one for sure.
Unbelievable finish in overtime. 70-68 on their home floor, down 17. Bishop Knoll storms back in the second half. Coach, first of all, good to see you. I have not seen you in a while. Happy New Year, all that good stuff. And you guys are coming off 2 of your last 3 victories. Last time I saw you personally was a victory, then sandwiched in between that loss to Saginaw Valley State. But your first GLIAC win against Northwood, so congratulations on that too. But the 2 games I haven't seen now, let's first talk. We'll get the bad out of the way first. We'll talk about Saginaw Valley. Close one at home. What happened that night? What could have gone better? Then ultimately, obviously, we'll get to Northwood and what did go better that night.
Sure. Honestly, it was one of the best things that could have happened to our team. That was a really low moment for our guys. That locker room was extremely tough because they felt like they prepared to win the game, and we couldn't hit a shot, but that wasn't it. It was we lost focus for that 3 or 4 minutes again, and Saginaw took advantage. And what we talked about is we talked about the premise of new wine, right? And everybody across the world, wine is a universal language. Everybody loves wine, but nobody talks about, or very rarely do people talk about, the process of getting to this amazing tasting wine is the crushing of grapes, right? And then my favorite song is Hillsong's New Wine. And it says, in the crushing, in the pressing, you are making new wine. And I told our team, I was like, listen, we're the grapes right now. We're getting crushed. We're getting pressed. Things won't go our way. Calls haven't gone our way. Balls haven't gone our way. What are we going to do about it? Are we going to feel bad for ourselves, or are we going to keep going and become this wine? And our guys were totally locked in. They bought into that, and we went on the road and got a huge win 2 days later. So it was a tough loss, but it could be the best thing that's happened to our program in a long time.
People talk about that a lot, that out of a loss and a negative thing, good things can happen, especially to programs. We've seen this in Major League Baseball now, different sports where teams try the whole rebuilding thing, right? Sometimes they have to do it. Sometimes they make a choice to do it. And obviously that's what has happened here. You've had to go to rebuilding, and you knew that coming in, of course. So there's good things that happen in losses, and that happened then. Next time you come out, you get your first GLIAC win against Northwood. Tim Gilmore led the way with 19. You had, by my count, I was looking today, I think 43 points off the bench. That was pretty close to it. Guys were really important, and that's what you have to do to go on the road in this conference to get a W.
Yeah, it was a game all about toughness. We fell behind early. It was another solid preparation day, and we felt like we could compete. They were much bigger, much more physical than we are, which is pretty much across the board in the GLIAC. We got to keep improving in that in recruiting. But I was super proud of our guys because, like you said, Tim Gilmore felt terrible about Thursday. He couldn't hit a shot, and he bounced back with a tremendous game. Guys like A.B. and Tay were men on the glass defensively. Greg Boyle and Brent Schofield were huge off the bench. Chase Rankin was huge off the bench. So that's one of our strengths compared to the rest of the GLIAC is there's not a huge difference between 1 and 16 on our roster. I guess 15 of the guys who play. So for us, we feel like there's not much of a drop-off when guys are locked in. And that was a total team win. The last 5 minutes was what we talk about, stops, free throws, execution. We did it at a high level. So great win, earned some momentum, and now we get to turn around and have 2 really tough teams at home this week.
We'll talk about them in 1 second. I want to kind of go back to one thing you just said, though. It's kind of a slogan you almost have, right? In the fights, never say die mentality. That's what we've seen so far all this year. And there's times when fans have watched their team and been frustrated and think, oh, these guys don't care. But not for 1 second when you watch you guys, whether it's ended up being a 15-point game or you lost by a couple like Saginaw Valley State, or you come back down at halftime to beat Northwood, it's that same nonstop effort until the officials say, all right, guys, that's the ball game. What does that really mean to you? It kind of explain that a little bit. I don't know if I've ever really asked you that, but elaborate a little bit on that.
Yeah, it's everything to our program. Number one thing, we're after stuff that lasts, right? The ball stops bouncing, and in 20 years, nobody cares that one of these guys shot 48 from 3 or that we won 20 games. Like, what they're going to remember is the relationships, learning how to be a great husband and a great dad, hopefully, from the guys they're trying to emulate. And I give a lot of credit to that to our staff, to Mike Brown and Noel Larkins. When we talk about being in the fight, we're going to lift when you guys lift. We're going to compete when you guys compete. And it's just a trickle down. When the coaches are completely in it with you and not just blowing the whistle and yelling at you and telling you what to do, they're actually doing it with you. Now, we don't do it as well. We're slower. We're fatter. We're not as strong. But there's this buy-in of like, wow, we're all together. And now when your best player and your not as talented players are in it together, it just creates this family. And we feel like we have a little bit of ways to go in recruiting and to get to the talent level we need to get at to compete in the GLIAC and nationally. But we feel like our family atmosphere is as good as anybody in the country, and that stems from being in the fight together. When we lose together. When we fight together. When we win, we win together. And I'm glad you said that, because I just really believe we're a fun team to get behind, and I think as we keep progressing, you take that culture and you keep rolling it down the mountain, kind of like Clemson football has, and then all of a sudden you start adding the right type of recruits. You get more talented as you keep your family culture, and that's just so tough to beat.
Coach, speaking of a fight, you're going to have that tonight. Good Wayne State team comes in. You look at their record, you think, 3-7, but all 3 of those wins in the GLIAC Conference, so we know they're a tough team. What kind of challenges they present you guys tonight?
A lot. Their 2 lead guards are very talented. They have great freedom to play. Coach does a nice job with them. They stick tough shots. They have very good athletes across the board. Like you said, they're probably the hottest team in the league, having won several in a row now, and really giving it to some teams that have a better records than them. So we got our hands full tonight. We don't rebound the ball, we're going to be in trouble. If we don't stop their 2 lead guards, we're going to be in trouble. And hopefully our guys are ready to play. Hopefully they got the confidence from that win, and we're not just resting on, hey, we've arrived, because that is not the case. But we feel good about where we're at. We feel good about our preparation, and it should be a battle tonight.
Coach, who are you going with? Who are the 5 starters tonight?
Going the same 5 we've started the last couple games. Rich at the 1, Timmy Gims at the 2, Lucas at the 3, AB at the 4, and Durante at the 5.
Coach, best of luck. We're hoping to get a nice crowd here tonight and good energy, and we know your players bring that energy for sure, so good luck tonight.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
Thank you.